talk about Star Wars. Star Wars! In honor of May the 4th and May the 5th, you know? May the Sith, right? You get it. You're geeks. You understand. No? Okay. Alright. Arbor's showing which side he may be more on. So today we are going to talk about a bit about Star Wars. We have a couple of tongue twisters, which are fun. We haven't done tongue twisters for a while. And we're also going to talk about how to make a lightsaber. I have 2 ways to make a lightsaber, crafty ways, one of which even lights up, which is very fun. I think it's fun. He is here. Eh? Right here? Up! Get good! Up! Up! And then we're also going to talk about some of the some of my favorite characters in Star Wars. This is the villains. Star Wars has some incredible villains in it. So we're going to talk about the psychology behind them, what made them who they are. And off of that, we are then going to build a Force-sensitive character in D&D. Are they going to be good? Are they going to be bad? Only time will tell, and only you will tell. So join us for all of that. And at the end, we will also roll to see if Arbor is more light side or dark side. So stick around for all of that, and let's get into it. Are you ready? Ready? Let's go! Come on! Let's go.
Keyword: Star Wars. Star Wars. From movies to books to games to shows to unlimited swag, the epic space opera Star Wars is everywhere. And we're gonna add to the pile by talking about how the franchise's best villains became their terrifying selves, plus making lightsabers in 2 different ways. Tongue twister time. All of us contain multitudes. Sometimes we're good. Jolly, Jedi, drill, jujitsu. Jolly Jedi drill jujitsu. Jolly Jedi drill jujitsu, Jolly Jedi drill jujitsu, Jolly Jedi drill jujitsu. And sometimes we're bad. 7 sassy Sith sewing socks. 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 And sometimes we get traumatized and take a path of rage and hatred, like many of the incredible villains in the Star Wars universe. Fantasy science. Now, not everyone who goes through trauma ends up on a path of rage and hatred, of course, but it is the case for these folks. I know you all have strong feelings on these characters too, so let me know your thoughts on my list of top 6 traumatized Star Wars villains. And of course, spoiler alert, for a bunch of stuff. First up, the newbie, Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren was originally Ben Solo, the son of Princess, Senator, and icon Leia Organa, and infamous ace pilot Han Solo. Strong with the Force even before being born, Emperor Palpatine secretly forged a Force bond with Ben as an infant to begin manipulating him. Leia and Han had a troubled marriage, and initially chose to not train Ben in the Force, fearful that he'd fall to the dark side, but eventually they did ask Luke Skywalker, Leia's brother and Ben's uncle, to train Ben. Then, at 23, Ben learned that Darth Vader was his grandfather, and his deep feeling of betrayal that this truth was hidden from him added to his growing darkness. Sensing this, Luke attacked Ben one night, which, would be pretty darn traumatic. Ben got away with the help and goading of Palpatine, and thus, with his parents' strife, manipulation from the moment he was born, and attempted nepoticide, he became the troubled and angry, very angry, Kylo Ren. In 5th spot we have Boba Fett. Boba Fett was a clone of bounty hunter Jango Fett, though Jango raised Boba as his son rather than as a clone. Jango trained Boba in the art of combat until his death at the hands of Jedi Master Mace Windu, who cut off Jango's head, right in front of Boba, who was a child. This trauma fueled a lifelong hatred of the Jedi in Boba, who then grew up as an orphan in the galaxy's criminal underworld, which would have been pretty brutal. Oh, and since the Republic's clone troopers were all clones of his father, he had to see his dead father everywhere and sometimes also fight him. That would have been pretty brutal too. 4th on the list is the classic Darth Vader. Vader's origin story is pretty well known since it's the subject of Star Wars movies 1 to 3, but to sum up, Darth Vader was originally Anakin Skywalker, who was raised as a slave with his mother on a desert planet before being taken away to train as a Jedi. While training, he struggled with letting go of attachment and got into a secret relationship with Galactic Senator Padme Amidala. Then, 10 years after he left to train, his mother was kidnapped by Sand People and died in his arms, fueling his fury and fears of losing those he loves, particularly Padme. These fears and fury were manipulated and encouraged by then Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, who promised Anakin would never again have to lose someone he loved because the Sith had a secret way to stop death. Anakin then helped lead the eradication of the Jedi Order, including taking out a bunch of younglings, which must have added a whole other level of moral injury and trauma that created the iconic villain we know and love. Or fear. Taking bronze is everyone's favorite murder bot. It's General Grievous. But Grievous wasn't always a bot. Or cyborg, technically. General Grievous started life as Kaimain Hai Shilal, a proud reptilian Kaleesh warrior who fought in a generational war against an insectoid species called the Huck. The Huck aligned with the Republic, who sent Jedi to help win the war for the Huck, causing the Kaleesh to be oppressed by them and beginning Grievous's deep hatred of the Jedi. Later, sensing his incredible combat abilities, Count Dooku blew up Grievous's ship but told him that the Jedi had been responsible for the attack. Blinded by rage and his grievous injuries from the crash, Grievous accepted his iconic metal body, which he loathed at first, but learned to appreciate for all the skittering and murder it allowed him to do. I guess mixing generational trauma, oppression, and serious manipulation is a recipe for violence. In second place, and actually my favorite Star Wars character, Asajj Ventress. Ventress was born to the Night Sisters on Dathomir, who were forced to give up baby Ventress to a pirate in order to protect the clan. The pirate kept her as a slave until she was a young child, when that pirate was killed by Jedi Knight Kai Narek, who saved Ventress upon realizing she was Force-sensitive. Ventress trained under Narek for years, until he too was killed, this time right in front of her. She became consumed by fury, reasonably, and embraced the dark side, blaming the Jedi and Republic for abandoning her master. Eventually, she was found by Count Dooku, who continued her training in the Force, this time as a Sith assassin / kinda secret apprentice. And Ventress, from all that trauma and rage and instability, truly became a force to be reckoned with. I'll stop here now, but it's not even close to the end of her story, and you should go learn about that too because it's awesome. Okay, and finally, the #1 traumatized Star Wars villain is Darth Maul. Maul, like Ventress, was born on Dathomir and given away at a young age. But Maul was willingly given up to Sith Lord Darth Sidious, aka Palpatine, after Sidious noted his potential. Maul was consumed by his training, which included inhaling the ashes of Sith warriors killed by the Jedi, so that he could experience their anguish and pain, standard training stuff. This experience, combined with his dark origins and indoctrination, bred in Maul a powerful hatred of the Jedi. After many years of training and waiting, Maul fought Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, killing Jinn but being sliced in half by Kenobi. But that's not where his story, or trauma, ends. Maul survived his bisection through pure hatred of Kenobi, escaping and hiding on a junk planet where his hatred forged him a terrifying spider lower body. His exile pain and rage twisted his mind, and he became more and more feral until found by his brother and saved by the Night Sisters, who replaced his scary spider legs with scary metal ones and healed his mind enough to allow him to menace the galaxy once again. So what do you think? Do you agree with my list? Is your favorite villain nowhere to be seen? Let me know in the comments.
Alright, so now it's... Hey, why? Why? Start. Thanks. Why? Alright, well this is just gonna happen, I guess. Is this what you want? Yeah? Okay, come here. Up, come sit with me. Sit with me. No. Sit. Up, here. No. Up, hey, this. Okay, there. Okay. Now that the chaos is done, we are going to talk about how to create a Force-sensitive character in D&D. So, not just Jedi, these could be Sith as well. So I was looking at what you would need to really capture a Jedi. And the first thing you're going to need for sure is telekinesis of some sort, right? Like you need the ability to pick things up and move them, move people, all those sort of things. So telekinesis was needed, but I really didn't want to make a wizard. Like wizard really didn't feel in the vibe and the spirit of Jedi and Sith. So I didn't go wizard. And we can get telekinesis in a couple other places, so we didn't go wizard. The class that actually started standing out for me as a Force-sensitive Jedi or Sith class was actually Paladin. Now, this is because Paladins, they're typically light, right? They're typically very good aligned characters. If you see the latest Dungeons & Dragons movie, you can see the Paladin in there is very good aligned. But a shout out to NADPOD and Brian Murphy that you can have dark Paladins as well. They're as strongly aligned with an idea, usually on the evil side of things, but You can flavor a paladin to be dark. You just have to, flavor them differently. So I think paladins, because they have this light and dark association, at least in my head, and I've consumed a lot of NADPOD, so in the first season of Not Another D&D podcast, there's some dark paladins. So that felt pretty appropriate there, and you have the selflessness versus kind of a selfishness vibe, very Jedi Sith, very committed to their ideals. They're connected to a cause or a need, and you have things like meditation and or prayer are important, and you always see Jedi meditating and like trying to connect with spirits and connect with the universe and the force and energy and all of that. So paladins really felt like they aligned pretty well with our Sith and Jedi. And your Jedi or your Sith could be Oath of Devotion as what the oath that they take, just like they're devoted to different things, but both of them are pretty like order focused. It's just, what's the thing behind that order, and Sith have more of a power angle than the Jedi do. So Oath of Devotion though could work for either. Or if you have a Jedi turned Sith, or maybe if we're in like the gray Jedi sort of zone, gray Jedi being like kind of between a Jedi and a Sith in the like wither aligned and all of that. You could maybe have Oath of Vengeance, where it's like maybe they were a Jedi and they saw that the Jedi's methods weren't that effective, so they decided to kind of take matters into their own hands to get vengeance, to get justice in whatever way, whatever form that took. So you could have Oath of Vengeance as well. And then to get that magic, because we need some more magic than paladins tend to have, and I didn't want to go wizard, the class that made a lot of sense was sorcerer. Because sorcerers are inherently magical, right? They're not studied like a wizard would be. So that inherent magic of a sorcerer is very similar to the inherent force sensitivity of Jedi and Sith. And while sorcerers don't have as many spells as a wizard can have, they have a much smaller amount of spells they're allowed to learn, they can still have some pretty cool spells within that list. And it just aligns better with that innate sense of magic as opposed to the training and book learning of those wizard folk. So for origin of the sorcerer, like origin of where their magic power comes from, I was thinking the one that makes the most sense to me would be Aberrant Mind sorcerer. I didn't go super deep into the sorcerer subclasses. They're very detailed, or the origins, but Aberrant Mind for my look seemed to make the most sense. It's a very psionics themed, which aligns with the telekinesis and the Jedi and the Force and all of that. And telepathic speech is something you get like very early on. So you can telepathically communicate to one creature you can see within 30 feet, but it lasts for 3 minutes within 3 miles. So that's pretty neat. And then as you get further and further along, you get bigger and bigger spells. A lot of spells to do with like ghostly sort of otherworldly tentacles, which is a lot less less Jedi and Sith linked. But you could flavor it, you have fun with it. And then also there's another origin called shadow magic that deals a lot with shadows and darkness and fun things like that. So we're looking a bit more at the gray Jedi and the Sith with this one, I would say. Full Jedi with this one would be a little sus, but we have shadow magic, so more dark aligned characters, especially those for everywhere, especially those with a connection to the spirit realm or animals. There's quite a few Jedi, if we know Obi-Wan Kenobi, who have an ability to have that connection with animals. You could also bump up your sorcerer's wisdom that would help with your animal handling. But the reason this makes sense for the shadow magic origin is because once they get, I think, to 6th level, shadow magic sorcerers can summon a howling creature of darkness, often referred to as a hound, that can like aid them and assist and attack and track things and do all these features that make sense if someone has like good animal handling or good spirit connection stuff. And I mean, we know that Jedi and Sith can be any race in the Star Wars universe, but for D&D, I think elves make the most sense. They just have like that sort of nature expansive connection that we don't see in some of the other races. So elves make the most sense for me for your Jedi or your Sith, but again, I think you could do any class if we're being true to the Star Wars world where the midichlorians could be in anybody. It's fun time. out there in the Star Wars universe. So, our D&D Force-sensitive characters, goodies or baddies, elves or not, they, I think, would be a 3rd level paladin and a 9th level sorcerer. 3rd level paladin, you get your oath, and 9th level sorcerer, you get your origin, way earlier, but then you also get 5th level spells. And this is where the really fun stuff happens. Because this is where I also need your help. Because sorcerers at 9th level only get 1 5th level spell, and there are 2 that are kind of similar that do different things that would be very, very useful and appropriate for a Jedi or a Sith, depending on sort of like the context that they're in. So, we have Bigby's Hand or Telekinesis. They're both spells that allow you to pick stuff up kind of at a distance, but they have different flavors on them and different specific ideas and bits about them. So, Bigby's Hand, you conjure a big hand that can punch things, it can grab things, it can push things, and it can cover to provide you with some cover. So it's really good for combat, but it can be attacked directly, so it has hit points, and when those hit points run out, it disappears. Before that 1 minute mark hits. And it's not good at like fine dexterity or stealth type things because it's a giant floating hand of like a spectral sort of shimmering magical energy. So depending on your DM, it wouldn't be as good at those stealth ideas. A bit more about the hand. So it's an object that has an AC of 20, so people have to roll at least a 20 in order to hit it, so that's pretty good. And its hit points are equal to your hit points. Sorcerer is a bit of a squishy class, a bit more, but you might be able to beef that up with your Paladin subclass or your Paladin multi-class there. So you cast the spell on an action, but then to use it on your following turns, it's a bonus action, which is pretty nice because then it doesn't take up that much of your action economy as you're playing. So the Clenched Fist ability is the hand strikes a target within 5 feet of it, which is just a melee spell attack. And the target takes 5d8 force damage, which is pretty good. You know, not bad. Hi, what are we doing? And then there's Forceful Hand. So the hand attempts to push a huge or smaller creature, which is going to be a lot of the creatures you run into. So the target must succeed on a strength saving throw, or the hand pushes the target up to 5 feet, plus a number of feet equal to 5 times your spell casting ability modifier. So your hair floats. So depending on your level, the hand can push pretty far, which is kind of cool. And then Grasping Hand, the hand attempts to grapple a huge or smaller creature within like melee range of it. And the target has to succeed on a dex saving throw or be grappled, which is fun. And then if you have a target grappled, you can use a bonus action to try to crush it. So this would be like your next turn, right? Because you grab it in a bonus action, and then you could crush it on your next turn in a bonus action, which would be bludgeoning damage 4d6 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. So not quite as good as just punching it with your clenched fist, but pretty good. And then you can also do Interposing Hand. This is the defense one. The hand grants you half cover against attacks and other effects. And if people try to pass through the hand, because it doesn't actually take up a space, it's just kind of like floating, but people can move through it. But it's difficult terrain for your enemies if they try to move through your big hand. Makes sense. So that is Bigby's Hand, 5th level evocation. You can cast it at a higher level, and then the damage of Clenched Fist increases 2d8, and the damage of the Grasping Hand increases by 2d6 for each spell slot above level 5. So as you upcast this guy, it gets even more dangerous. So that's Bigby's Hand, and then there's also Telekinesis, which feels more aligned. I mean, we think of Jedi, we just think of picking stuff up and moving it, force pushing and all that sort of stuff. But it's just a bit different than Bigby's Hand. It has a few different uses. So Telekinesis, it's 10 minutes that it lasts, but it is concentration, so if you get hit, you have to roll to see if you can maintain it. It cannot attack beyond, it can pick stuff up and drop it, and it can hold things, restrain them, but it doesn't have a punch attack, it doesn't have a crush attack, those sorts of things. But it is good at fine motor control, and it can be used stealthily because there's no giant hand floating in space. So Telekinesis is you gain the ability to move or manipulate creatures or objects by thought. When you cast a spell, and as a magic action on your later turns before the spell ends, you can exert your will on one creature or object you can see within range. causing one of the two following effects. And you can affect the same target round after round or choose a new one anytime. So where Bigby's hand is like, if you have someone grabbed, that's it. You can't just like go and grab that person. You don't have to let go. Telekinesis, you can just kind of move around where you want. And if you switch targets, the prior target's no longer affected by the spell, of course. So with telekinesis, if you go for a creature, you can try to move a huge or smaller creature, so the same size range as Bigby's hand. And the target must succeed on a strength saving throw, or you can move it up to 30 feet in any direction. So this is similar to that forceful hand, which depending on your level, you'll be able to move them more or less, you know. So with telekinesis, with a creature, when you try to move them, they are restrained when you've got them in your telekinesis, and you can lift them up in the air and they'll be suspended there. And this lasts for 1 turn. So if you don't use your action in the next turn, so full action to continue your telekinesis attack on this being, then the telekinesis will drop on it. It's a bit different from Bigby's hand again there. And then you can also move a huge or smaller object. If the object isn't being worn or carried, you can automatically move it in any direction 30 feet. But if the object is worn or carried, then the creature has to succeed on a strength saving throw. And if they fail, then you could pull the object away and move it, which is fun. And the thing with telekinesis is it does have fine motor control. So you can do things like open a door, use a simple tool. You can stow or retrieve an item from an open container. You can pour the contents from a vial. So it's got, I would say, more of the like role play. Your foot itchy? Okay. More of the role play aspects. So please let me know which you think would be better for our Force-sensitive goodies and baddies to have. Should they have Bigby's hand, a big floating hand that can punch things but may not be able to open a door for you? They could punch the door, but it's not so good at stealth. Or telekinesis that has more non-combat functions and is more limited in a combat sense. Let me know in the comments. Yeah? Yeah. And now, it's time for Arbor ability check. You just have to roll a die. Yeah, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. No, sir, what's this? Okay, come here. Come sit. All right. So we need, okay. Okay, so we're gonna do things a little bit differently today. Instead of rolling against an attack or anything, we are gonna see if Arbor would be light side or dark side with rolls. And this is a light side dark side bandana from our Etsy, which you can get. You can also match your pup with a scrunchie of light side or dark side, which is very fun. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna roll 3 times. Odd numbers are a vote for Sith. Even numbers are a vote for Jedi. Okay? You gotta face the camera. Up, get up. Up, okay, up, come here. Okay, up, get up. His cooperation level is indicating Sith right now. Surprising nobody. Up, yep, up. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. All right. Ready? Hold. Okay, break. Okay, we have a 3. You can see there. So that's 1 in the dark side column. Thanks. Okay, here. What's this? Catch. Oh, good. Okay, roll 2. Oh, we've got another odd number, so we didn't even get to our 3rd roll, but let's do it just to see if we can go 3 for 3. You're no. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Okay, thanks. All right, let's see. 3 for 3. Ready? Catch. Oh, okay. Oh. Catch. Oh, hit my legs. Okay. Oh, come here. No? Okay. Hold. Break. That was an even. So we did get 2 odd numbers and 1 even number, which makes him dark side. Yeah? That's what I was gonna guess anyway. You're very sweet, but you're a little too chaotic. I don't think the Jedi would accept that. Ow! Ow! We gotta put this on. And again, this is the bandana, my scrunchie, and our rolling tray here are all from a bunch of crows on Etsy. Store is live right now, so if you want to get your dog all snazzied up and ready for May the 4th, I mean, that would be a fast turnover. But if you just want to be able to celebrate Star Wars all year round, then definitely check out a bunch of crows.
Science experiments for dogs. Where would Star Wars be without its signature weapon, the lightsaber? Goodies and baddies alike love these danger plasma swords, and you can actually make one at home. And not even just one made out of cardboard, but one that actually lights up and is still safe. No danger, or plasma, or sword. Let's get started. Where a regular lightsaber is powered by a kyber crystal, science hasn't yet found any earth crystals with quite the same capabilities. So we're gonna make a simple circuit with some copper tape, an LED, and a battery instead. I'm working off of Rosie Research's instructions, and have put the link below if you'd like more detail on the process. And though we don't have kyber crystals, scientifically calling something a crystal just means it has a really well-organized molecular structure. And the atoms in the battery I'm using are arranged in a crystal structure, so it is kinda like we have a kyber crystal. Except our battery won't change color through our will or emotion or rage. Probably a good thing. I was gonna use a red LED since Arbor can be a bit dramatic at times, but since he was full and sleepy, he felt peaceful and chose green instead. I fancied up the handle, and then it was time to test.
Thank you so much for joining us for this exploration into Star Wars goodies and baddies, how to make Star Wars characters in D&D, and how to make lightsabers in 2 ways, one of which actually glows, which I thought was very cool. It was very fun for me. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to stay aware of all the weird things that we're doing over here and see more of Arbor's cute chaos. What are we doing? And leave a comment, let me know if you think Bigby's hand or telekinesis would be better for our D&D Force sensitive creatures. If you are Sith or Jedi, or somewhere in between, what your lightsaber color would be. Always fun to know. I just hit my light. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and we'll see you next time. Ready? Let's go! Let's go!